Hello and welcome. I know there is not much content on this channel at the moment. It's a difficult time for me. There's a lot of change and then the big C and all that. So at the moment you have to excuse, but I just don't have the energy to do a lot of content. But from time to time there is a reason why I want to get onto the simulator and do something, and here we have one of them, and that's the Saab 340 from LES or AlphaAviation, who distribute that. They have updated it, and they have updated it massively, it seems. There's also a new version of this Gizmo plugin out now. I had some trouble getting it installed. It didn't work the first time around. It's a weird thing. The Gizmo plugin just didn't want to start. So I did the whole uninstall and install it again thing, and that then seemed to have worked. There's another thing, it seems, or I heard, I haven't experienced it yet, I hope we don't experience it during this video, that with the latest version of X-Plane 1152, I think it is, this thing crashes mid-flight. Let's hope it doesn't. But the thing is, I don't have 1152 because I'm one of these people that delay updates for quite some time because in X-Plane it's optional, unlike FS2020, where I still have to get this 23 gigabyte monster with 10 Mbit per second download. So this takes between 13 and 16 hours to get it updated, and it just pisses me off. But anyway, X-Plane, you can delay the updates and you can still use X-Plane, and that's why I wait for quite some time until I'm pretty sure there is no echoes out there that say something like 1152 has a big problem. Once I'm reasonably fine that the simulator, the new version, is stable, I update, which I did about 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago. I updated to 1151, quite late, yeah. But I was happy with 1150, and now I'm quite happy with 1151, and I'll be waiting for 1152 to figure out whether or not certain add-ons or certain situations cause a problem. If not, there's nothing coming up, then I'll update to 1152. That's just my way of approaching things. So, yeah, I like the Saab very much. I haven't really been using it for quite some time. For one reason is that I'm not doing very much with the simulator at the moment. It's kind of limited. You know, I don't know if you have the same thing, but at the moment, this whole situation and also the job and all that is difficult at the moment. It's just a time of change, and yeah, it's partially also a bit stressing. It will get better again. This is just a transitional period, but at the moment I'm just powered out, and this whole lockdown situation doesn't really help as well. So yeah, I just don't find the energy, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you can understand what that means, because I have a feeling that I'm not the only one out there with this problem. And I don't want to talk about my hair. Not being able to get to the hairdresser is, for months now, is yeah, it's becoming a problem up there. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the Saab. I love it very much. They have made a ton of changes, or not changes, but fixes, adaptations. If I understand correctly, they have also made changes outside, like I may have misinterpreted that, but it sounded like they also did something on the outside, because I always thought that the Saab looks a bit shabby in certain areas, especially with the textures, and so this might be completely imaginative now, but my view is it looks better. Maybe I'm imagining it. But they said something of PBRs and things like that. So I have a feeling they have improved also on the visual aspects, at least of the outside. And I have to say, this looks really great. I really like it. They have also made a lot of changes inside. For example, they changed the whole command structure. So all my little scripts and things that I had to rewrite it again. For example, to open and close those doors, you need to click in, like the front door is especially bad. You need to get to the front door, or you need to program 6 keys or something like that, because it's a very complicated thing to get the door open and the stairs out. So I programmed a script which then kind of does it in the right sequence and also waits long enough, because you can't trigger the next one, for example, the stairs, before the door is completely open. So all these animations, they need to finish before you can do the next animation. It's not as bad in the cargo hold, because this cargo version, by the way, you also get the passenger version. But yeah, so I had to redo a lot of things, including the light switches. Everything that I had programmed for hardware and so on did not work anymore, because somehow the command names have, but I have a feeling they have added commands. Again, I may be wrong, because I haven't really been doing this for a long time here with the Saab. But yeah, I'm reasonably impressed and quite like what I see. Yeah. So let's get into the cockpit. Let's get into the cockpit. I need to first get into the simulator so that my keys work. So this doesn't look that much different, to be honest. Yeah, I had to reassign my axis again and did a few things. And I realized that now my second, the mixture axis of this throttle thing that I have, this Leo Bodnar based thing has broken now. So I have now a second axis that does not work anymore. It's time that I dismantle it, but I have ordered the Honeycomb Bravo throttle thing. Problem is, I don't know when I will get it. Sometime in spring 2021. In theory, I think we're still in winter, right? So spring is coming in March, and then takes until, I don't know, so somewhere between 1 and 4 months, something like that. Eventually I will get this email, I hope, that tells me that my Honeycomb is on the way here. Yeah, I ordered it with Aerosoft. So they're reliable, so at least I'm sure I will get it eventually. But yeah, since then I have, or until then I need to actually make do here with this thing. I'm not happy with it, but it's just the way it is. Right, this is not an easygoing aircraft. If you have seen it before, it's complicated. You have to go through checklists. You need to get kind of accustomed to how things work in this airplane. So, yep. But still, I quite like it. And in the Gizmo is this special plugin for all AviAviation planes. Yeah, here you have all these windows, the checklists, and then a number of other windows. There is also a way. I usually turn this off. For the sake of this video, I turned it on again because I hate side menus that pop up. But yeah, in this case, it helps. They meant well with this. I just think it's a little bit over the top. They've also changed, by the way, something with the joysticks, because the joystick menu where you assign joystick axis is gone. And at the beginning I had difficulties. I couldn't use actually the joysticks until I realized that they need to kind of synchronize with the real thing. So for example, what you see here now is the throttles don't move, yeah, because they are not in sync with my axis. And what I need to do is I need to, well, at least that worked now for this side. Oh, hang on, that was still captured. Yeah, that is a bit. Is that the TQ status? Yeah. So what you see here, okay, is this. What I'm not sure now is if this is again one of these examples where maybe the axis isn't. It's a constant, constantly something is not working. So, yeah, interesting. Why is my throttle not assigned anymore? That was... God. Yeah. So let's do that again then. It somehow didn't save that into the profile. I'm not sure why, but let's see if that... reverse. So we need to reverse it. Yeah. Okay. And probably I need to also calibrate the device now. And you can see that two axes now don't work. The one is completely gone. The other one is also somehow gone, but at least it detects it still. So I need to say, yeah, you see that. So we have, instead of 6 axes, I only have 5. That's not good. I ignore this one. In the one case where you see the axis, the connection between the potentiometer and the lever has broken. Again, by the way, this is a plastic part. I bought this unit. It fits into GoFlight slots. And so I have replacement parts, but it's a pain to get this open and repair. I've done it once and it was a real pain. And the other one somehow seems to have lost connection to the Leobodna card. So that is something that I may be able to repair. Just realized it now. So yeah, I don't want to start all over again. It'll do. So let's see. Yeah, now you see, and as soon as you have caught it, then this whole thing works. So the other problem now is that the ground idle, I had actually a profile, and this is what pisses me off with these things. Why did it not save it? Because I used it yesterday evening and it should have really saved everything, like it did save this assignment. Yeah, and here again, if you catch those, then you're fine. Because I had it so that the ground idle was basically, I have a detent here for these, which means now that I will probably need to, yeah, how do I do that now? I can't remember what I had. Let's see. So this is the detent. And I need to, let's see. Do I need to bring this up? Okay. Yeah. Not something that I wanted to do now. See if that works. Yeah. So, but don't make it a plateau or something. It still needs to be able to get into the beta in the reverse range. Okay. So that you can brake, but this is fine now. So I've seemed to have caught the best position for it. It's a detent basically. All right, cool. All right, so that's the setting up. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this aircraft, what you can do is you can open the Saab virtual checklist menu window, and then you can select. And then you can start. Basically, if you don't know your way around this aircraft, and I will use this because when I haven't used it for quite some time, I always end up looking for things. So you can click on the view and it brings you directly there. So all the external lights are off. The gear handle is down, yes. Flap handle is up, correct. You can see it here. The radar transponder is in standby. The unit is down here. It's in standby. Again, if you want to go to it, you press View and it brings you there. Then the batteries, we turn them on. So, oops, in the on position. And you will hear a lot of dim limbs. Okay, so let's turn that off. The external power, we're going to connect that. You need to go to another menu. It's the under the little truck here, or the ground support, which then shows here. And you connect the GPU. It will take a short moment. And well, maybe not. See? Oh yeah, it's there. Okay, and then you turn it on. It takes a wee moment. But here you see external power available. I also have the feeling that the colors may have changed in some areas. So again, I might imagine this, but this thing looks definitely someone has put in some work here. And the list is quite long. The list of things that they did is pretty long. I was quite surprised because I thought it might be some small little update to fix a problem, but it seems they have done some rework to this bird, which I think was high time because we're starting to kind of fade into this corner of unattended X-plane aircraft. But nope, I was wrong. I'm really happy to see that. Let's hope that it also works as reliable, relatively reliable as it did before. External power is on the avionics. You set them all three on. It's the avionics buses. And then you will be able to hear some fans coming. All right, the documents are on boards, side panels, oxygen checked. The oxygen, by the way, is over here. The overhead panel checked. Well, if you don't know what to check for, it's a nice one, but yeah, you need to be a Saab pilot to know exactly what to look for. Yeah, it's checked. Pedestal checked. Yeah, so basically the levers, I leave them down here. And the other thing I do is I pull the gust lock. You need to first click here to get this out. This is a lock of the Glock. And then you can move this. Right. Okay, so we are through. I'm not going to do the tests. I'm not going to do the walk around, so let's go to the before engine start check. Thing is, your GPS, you will not be able to turn on the GPS before you have started an engine. I'm not sure if that was like that before. I couldn't tell you now because again it's too long ago, but you have to have an engine started in order to be able to use the Garmin. That means programming will happen with an engine running. Okay, so batteries, they're on. External power is on. The bleed valves, they're here. You put them into the Z position and let them spring back or kind of go back then here. Bleed valves. Avionics are set. The oxygen, I think you're supposed to pull so that it's on. Circuit breakers, well, yeah, they're checked. They're not working anyway. Flight recorder, yeah, the only thing you can do here is you can enter actually your flight number if you want to. Parking brake, I had hardware for this, but the hardware doesn't work for some reason. So, see this? I can only turn it off. I cannot turn the parking brake on, and you should not, by the way, while you have your ground power. It should actually be on while you have your ground power attached. That's not sure if that's new, but yeah, something has changed here, and I need to still find out why. I can set it. No, I can turn it off, but I can't turn it on again. And things like that. Yeah, strange. Parking brake. Yeah, cabin signs. Again, if you don't know where it is, they're here. seat belts, and no smoking. So engine instruments, ignition. So the ignition is in normal position. Fuel quantity, yeah, so we have a bit less than half a tank. That's more than enough for what we're going to do. Hydraulics, they're by the way down here, so you check your quantity, your reservoir, and we're in the green here. The anti-skid is supposed to be on, and yep, that's fine. Cabin pressure, just check that this looks like 0 here, and yeah, roughly where on the height we are, which is hard to see because this is a, yeah, it's a bit rough, this a rough scale here. So roughly we are at the right position. Cabin pressure is set, yeah, then power condition levers, so ground idle and in the cutoff position for fuel off position. Alright, the trims, yeah, the trims are here, and it's actually hard to see because here's the actual trim, and it works. It seems to be electric, I'm guessing. And I leave that in the green at the moment. I'm not going to do correct calculations. Oh yeah, this. So, and then the takeoff data bugs checked and set. The data bugs check and set, yeah, that's basically here. So I think that this normally, yeah, I think it's in the right. I'm not going to do, I'm just going to fly intuitively here. That means, yeah, we're probably going to have a V1 somewhere around 80 something, 90, yeah. Takeoff data, yeah, okay. And then beacon, let's turn the beacon on. And let's check the door status. Oops, the wrong one. Yeah, we still have, well, we actually have 2 doors open, and I would have expected these lights to go on. For some reason they don't. Well, anyway, it's not so bad. Okay, now I'm going to use my little scripts to, first of all, close the cargo hold, which went far slower before and is now like a rapid door, like it's a chafot. You have to be careful that you're really not in the way of this door when it comes down. That had, I'm not sure why they did that, but that's a bit unfortunate because before that it was more realistic. It was slow, but it was more realistic. Now this is completely unrealistic. More realistic is the main door. Yeah. Yeah, more realistic if it would work. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. The other problem is that the script, I will have to make it more resilient because if something is wrong, as you can see, then this whole thing doesn't work anymore. And you need to wait that the animations have completely stopped before you can do the next animation. And the other thing is, I can't find the click spot for getting this stair back into, yeah. So I'm still working on this one. As I said, it has changed, which is a bit unfortunate. It's the slide thing, so I can use data ref tool for that. So you wait. Ah! Yeah. Well, LES, with the next update, should we get one, can you not just make that one click spot? I know it looks more realistic, but sometimes it can be a bit of a pain, and it's difficult, especially if you mess up the sequence. It just yeah. Anyway, door is closed, and we can get to the next checklist, which is the after engine start. Now, if you want, you can do an auto start. So there's a Saab engine auto start. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and start it myself. I hope I can still piece things together. Now, one of the things that I learned is you need to bring these into the start position, and because it's actually not so easy to do this with the joystick, especially now with one axis, I use the mouse, as you've just seen me, because there are detents here. You pull it kind of out and then it sticks in that position. You need to have those on in order to get your engine started. The other thing you need to have is external power on. I think you have to have the bleed stuff working. Now the crossfeed valve, I'm not sure if we need that. And then you kind of hope that I have got everything and press here. And if things go dark and quiet, you're fine. And the position of the ground power unit is rather precarious there. I don't want to be the one who has to go there and disconnect it. So, right ignition is off. Now what I can't remember is if you have to bring the levers further up, but I'm going to start the second engine now. As I say, I haven't really used it for a long time. And with these many aircrafts that we have in X-Plane, oh yeah, and by the way, forgot about that too. Remove all the items. It will remove everything except the GPU, and obviously the GPU I will disconnect as soon as the engine is in, as soon as the ignition is off. Okay. Oh yeah. Why went it dark now? Because I turned the generators off, and now the next thing is we need to bring this into the next position. Which is the minimum position. Another unfortunate thing is it's hard to see the detents because they unfortunately they are a little bit hard to see. So I bring it in the unfeathered position. I think we're fine now, yeah. Okay, so let's go through the after, which is the Autokorsen, which is some kind of propeller magic thing. Autokorsen, I still don't know where that word comes from. Bastai. Yeah. Where's the Bastai? Okay, it's in auto. There's no light on. Checked. The external power we have turned off automatically by disconnecting it. Generators, they are reset and on. The air conditioning, yeah, you have to set it from the temperatures, and I usually turn on the recirculating lights. The emergency lights, they go into the no, don't want that. It's a bit hard to here. Bring it in the arm position. Then the fuel used, you would reset this by pushing here on this button that would bring it to 0. We should see some fuel use soon. Condition levers into the max position, and that's, as I said, it's hard to see that actually. This is a detent. If you do it with a mouse, you will actually end up in a detent. Otherwise, you have to kind of do it. Yeah, here, yeah. So that's the max detent. Seems to work. They actually, I'm not sure if it was like that before. I couldn't tell you now, but I find this not bad with the mouse. So, because you don't really do that much with these levers, although you might want to modify between max and min, and for that the axis would work. But I remember that it stays in max for most of the time. Ice protection. Yeah, let's turn on the prop quack, the pitot. So where's the pitot stuff? That's the windshield. Left side normal, right side normal, and that's the front windows. So we turn them on. So this is the propeller, left prop and right prop. We don't need that because we don't have icing conditions. Overhead panel checked. Again, for that you would need to know what to look for. I don't know what to look for. It looks okay, no lights on. So I suppose that's fine. Then the EFIS, let me show you these. So here's some switches. No, that's the weather radar and the transponder. Put that in standby. Where were the switches for that thing? Oh yeah, up here. So here you can set the decision height, for example. And in order to change it, I think you need to press the button. So I put this into 200. Decision height is radar. See, and then I can't change it anymore. So I need to... No. Yeah. It's like that, obviously, in the real aircraft. Okay. It's out now, right? So now it can't be changed. And you can use the selector knob in order to change from rows to this, although I'm not sure what this is actually shown because the flight plan I can't see in here on this display. Right, now it's time to activate the Oh, don't press, turn the knob. And then you need to wait through this little spiel here. Yeah, Garmin, it's nice. So they added some animation before you can actually get into this and actually pull it out. So don't be surprised. Clear signal, yep. Next checklist would be the taxi checklist. But first we need to get our flight plan set up. So FPL, we are in Munich. Yeah, so let's go to the procedure and let's select the departure. Oops, it's the Anchor 9 Quebec. Enter. Enter. Okay, next is Akini. I actually use hardware now. I have this old GoFlight, this defect GoFlight unit, which still has the something like this here. And that's actually perfect because that is so much easier to use the hardware compared to this clicking frenzy. Clicking and mouse frenzy. Whoops. Kini. Alright. For some reason I can't do the knobs. That doesn't work. I'm not sure why that is. Akini. Next, Ostis. Oops. Yeah, and it is very quick. Ostis. Os. Ostis. Enter. Enter. And now comes the BAMTA. I'm leaving out BAMTA, so I go on procedure. I haven't defined the arrival airport, and usually what it does is then it takes the departure airport. So I say select departure, so I need to select arrival. No, go down again, enter. So we need the BAMTA for Alpha 08 left, enter, load. We may actually have to change this. You will see in a moment that it looks a bit odd when we get there. Approach, enter. It's the ILS 08 left. Via the mic transition, load. Now let's go on to the flight plan and just check. BAMTA Rosa Bingo Giusto Landu MIQ, and yeah, so these do not work very well, so I'm going to remove these two fellas here, because otherwise we get a problem. And we also might, if I remember correctly, here at this transition, the LNAV sort of will fail. By the way, let's put this on GPS, don't forget that. You might actually fail here, so when we get to mic, I might have to bring it like with a direct to bring it to the next waypoint. So this I remember that things like that happen. This is not the plane, this is actually the GNS. Maybe that has changed, I don't know, we'll see. I remember that at this point there's usually a little hiccup which you need to just be aware of and then react accordingly. Okay, so that's it. We have our flight plan. Okay, so I'm going to roll out here. Yeah, at least I'm trying to. For that, by the way, in order to I think you need to press it down so that you can then use the steering tiller or the rudders for steering. And I'm going to release the parking brake. Yeah. And then I will provide a bit of power so that it starts rolling. And you see with the steering tiller or the what's it called? The wheel, I forgot what it's called. I have another joystick here, my side stick. I use the X-axis for that. It makes it a bit more easier to steer and also a bit more realistic, because in this aircraft you do actually have this little steering tiller, but it will work with the rudders as well. So let's check the brakes. Yep, the brakes work. Then the altimeter, yep, it's 2992. Unfortunately, they do not have the other units, so you will need to kind of sort of calculate it for yourself. This aircraft only has inch. Then the flaps, we're going to set flaps 1. Flight instruments and radio, yeah, that's normally, you would check this accordingly, right? So, but we are not going to fly online today. Tests, yeah, I'm not going to go through tests. Then the CTOT, we're supposed to set the CTOT, and if I remember right, we need to set it to somewhere around 100. As I say, this is not by the book now. You turn the CTOT on. Whoops. Yeah. And the briefing is complete. So next, what do you before takeoff checklist? So far, I have to say, it's quite smooth. The checklists are very helpful, especially when you're not familiar with this aircraft. You can see that I know, in many cases, I know where things are. Sometimes my memory is not so good. I can use the view. And so if you have used this aircraft before, you will get into it very quickly again, should you not fly it that often, like I do. Not fly it that often, but yeah, as a beginner the checklists are sort of important. Yeah, just use them. It helps. It helps to find your way around. The sounds have always been great. Personally, I think they sound better than the there's a Coronado version of the Saab 340. Did they bring that out for... I think they brought it out for X-Plane as well, right? Not only for Prepared. I personally prefer this one here. I think this is far more realistic. It gives a more realistic feel to it. And I'm happy that they have made all these updates. So as I say, the list of things that they did is huge. And actually, I might just be calling up that list. By the way, I have almost idle, yeah, in the max position for the propellers, and I have slightly moved up from the ground idle, and that gives me a nice taxiing speed, making videos, you know. If things are too fast, then it becomes difficult for a single pilot like me doing videos as well, and talking and doing all the other things that I do. So it looks a bit slow, and it would normally be a little bit slow. Yes, that's true. So here's all the changes. We can go through them later on. Now I have to give a bit more power. Yeah, it has slowed down a bit. I just give it a bit of power and then I pull it back again. Just remember, I did put on the taxi lights, right? And I'll have it on, yeah. Yeah, you have to play a little bit with the power until you get to sort of the right speed. As I say, I'm a little bit slow, but that's just for me to not having to watch out also for the aircraft doing funny things. And by the way, this is default Munich. I'm not in the show final design here. And I also have winter mode with Sam in the default scenery. So this is all default scenery with Sam winter textures applied. The frames are pretty good. Talking about frames, why don't we just very quickly activate it and have a look. Yeah, it's about 40 to 50. It's not like it would be with a Cessna. With a Cessna I can, with these settings, can get up to 60, 70 easily. But so it's complex enough to use some frames, but it is definitely giving you a lot of leeway here before the under 20 frames thing, which is bad for online flying. Right, so now external lights. Let's turn off the taxi light. Let's turn on the strobes. Let's turn on the landing lights. Yeah, and let's inform the passengers. Now, external lights are on. The takeoff signal is given. Air conditioning. Yeah, let's put it up a bit. Is set. Transponder. Put it to the alt position. Flight controls. Checked. CVP By the way, I need to bring this up again. Or, oh no, hang on, we're still steering. CVP, CVP, what was that again? Hang on. Oh yeah, that's the where all the messages are, is dark, that's good. And the takeoff inhibit push knob is here and needs to be pushed. So next checklist is then the climb checklist. Okay, so let's get onto the So we already used 40 kilos of fuel, as we can see down here. The flaps are actually out, but it's hard to see, and I'm not sure if this may be a little issue here with the outside modeling. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I can't tell, but it's hardly discernible whether or not the flaps are out. Maybe we can see it better if we are on the side and get down, but even from here I have difficulties telling whether or not the flaps are. Yes, they are actually very slightly. Yeah, they're out very slightly. It cannot be seen very well. All right then. Now, for the takeoff, first of all, we need to get the gust lock put back. This will spring back again, the gust lock release. So my understanding is that I bring the throttle levers into this position here, which is a kind of a detent, and that hopefully should handle this. So I'm bringing this forward, and unfortunately with the axis this detent will not be, yeah, anyway, roughly where this line is, and then you let loose. And I would start the rotation after we be above 90 roughly now. Yeah, so, and I just pull slowly. Oops, yeah, no, it's actually, it's definitely not over nervous when it comes to okay, so gear up. This is, by the way, the hydraulics thing, pump noise, I think. Okay, oh, hang on. I think we need to bring the autopilot into nav mode. And I'm going to use the the IAS mode. And then I turn the autopilot on by doing these. You have to stay on the switches for shortly, because otherwise they will, so flaps in. Oh yeah, and we will go to flight level 150 with this. We're not going to climb all the way to flight level 200. So, and hopefully it'll be following. It's hard to see here what it's doing, but I think it's doing okay. See here, looking fine. As far as I remember, the IAS mode wasn't very good before. I had some issues with this, so I'm now going to accelerate a little bit. That means the nose will drop so that the speed can pick up. Okay, so climb. The gears and flaps, they're both up. The ice protection is set. We don't have icing. I have winter textures, but I don't have winter temperatures. So the autocorsen needs to be turned off again. The external lights, yeah, we'll leave that on for the moment. The cabin signs, yeah, we leave them on. Air conditioning is set. The takeoff inhibit can be turned off now. Yeah, it is off. Cabin pressure checked. Yeah, so we can see that the cabin is differential pressure. Is it actually? Because it looks like we have been descending more than... Do I need to do something here? Have I missed something? What's the bleeds? Oh, yeah, you should turn the bleed valves on, or you will have a problem. It's latest by 10,000. That was not good. I overlooked that one. Ah, you see, now we're climbing. Now we're climbing. Because this is the differential pressure, and that was not good that it was getting higher and higher. Yeah, that's the new shadow effects. Don't always look great in XP11. So 10,000, we can turn off the landing lights. So the prop sync should be on now. Then the CTOT is to be turned off. The CTOT is basically when you're in the, that's what I understand, when you're in this detent, it kind of keeps the power at a certain level. So that's only for the takeoff part. And then altimeters, okay, they are on 2902 anyway because we don't have any pressure. So next is the descent checklist, and that will take a moment. Yeah, we have kind of exceeded a little bit. The speed, so it looks like we still have a little problem here with is the autopilot? No, the autopilot is still engaged, and it's also blinking because we are actually a little bit too fast, which is okay. So it doesn't actually hold the speed that that I dial in. We are actually a little bit too fast. We get, that's not good. Okay, so I don't know, but that looks like a bug to me. That looks like a bug to me, the IS mode. Let's do vertical speed and then IAS. Are we getting faster again? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be able to capture the speed properly. Okay. It's not perfect yet. All right. Well, anyway, it's. I have a feeling it's a bit stabler than what I remember. And as you can see, the barber pole is at 250, so that means we cannot exceed like something like 240, at least not in this altitude. I'm assuming that if we would be higher up, would eventually get higher speeds as well. Yeah, we're climbing quite slowly. Could be realistic, I can't tell you. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't show us anything here. This is probably the TCAS. We would probably see TCAS contacts, but the flight plan isn't shown. So for that you really need to use the GNS 530 here. By the way, the livery is from the forum Explain.org. It's one of those nice liveries. Adria unfortunately is not in business anymore as far as I understand, and so isn't Adria Cargo, but I remember that this is, I think, was realistic at the time. There had been cargo versions of this aircraft being used by Adria Cargo, if I'm correct. So I'm not going to fly to the Bamta corner because it's no point. This is the standard X-plane navigation, so we're probably going to do a shortcut and then turn onto Lando or Tosto before that. But let's quickly go through the changes. I'm going to make this a bit bigger and then we can go through the list. All manipulators have been remodeled. Yeah, I can confirm that because I had some. There has also been some changes in the programmings, the commands, the axis, yeah, the way you use the buttons, and I have a feeling this is better than before, definitely. The Torque Max lockout no longer too easy to go into TM lockout with manipulator. I think they have improved this because you had some problems. It's very hard to kind of not get into trouble here with your throttle axis on the joystick. Bank angle under autopilot control now restored to be unrestricted. Aha, I wasn't even aware that it was restricted, but there you go. So we have reached 1.5. The IS mode is off. We have I didn't do alt select, so I'm going to oh no, it went into alt select. Okay, but I should have actually activated alt select. I forgot that. Don't forget that. I'm going to put the speed here to, let's say, 230. And then we see it seems to be at an equilibrium here with this in this position. So I'm not going to change this. You can see, by the way, this thing here, this lock, this is to get the detent, to get it out of a detent if it is brought into a detent. Yeah, and that's flight idle. So let's have a quick look what happens. Can I get below the flight? No, I can't. So that's good. This is the max. And now let's see if I can move this. Is there? No, there isn't a field for a detent. Yeah, okay. And the problem here again, you need to be careful, because if you move these, you might actually end up not being able to use your axis again, and you need to try and catch it again, sort of. I've shown you before. Alright, let's go back to the changes. Throttle display graphics were not aligned with throttles at each other. Yeah, okay, so this display is different. Toga mode was not working according to real world ops. Yeah, I can confirm that. That was always a bit weird. Engaging Toga now announces FMA mode. Second, press silences the disconnect warning. Okay. IIS mode, in some cases IIS mode would not capture selected speed. I have to tell you guys, it still doesn't. There's still some weird things going on. Standby to from indicator changes when selecting course 2. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. FMA continues flashing fixed. Yeah. there was areas where, yeah, I can remember that. IIS speed bug. EADI now syncs to mechanical IIS speed bug while on the ground. Okay. Yeah, we've seen this also, that it does that automatically. Trim and flap extension speed adjusted. Okay, added control deflection ratio to nose wheel steering. Nose wheel steering works quite well now, so I'm quite happy with that. Let me quickly see, where are we? We're getting to Ostis, and what I'm going to do now is, as soon as we are past that, we're going to do a direct to Bingu. Quickly, Bingu, direct to, and activate. Okay, so we're cutting short a bit. Yeah, it's a nice aircraft, no doubt about that. Pleasing to the eye, that thing. Fixed animation of entry stairs. Yeah, the animation may be fixed. The way to do this with all these commands that need to be in the right sequence and all that is a bit... you should have one command to open the door and one command for the stairs. Would be easier like that, but you can live with it. Manipulator and animation for steering tiller fixed. Okay. Control surface animation adjusted. Okay. Added ability to map a single axis to prop. Yep, that didn't work before. It works now, and that's good because my throttle stuff broke. So without that, I would have a problem now getting these moved. But because they fixed this, in this it works. So that's actually, for me, that happens to be now a very good change. Yeah. Added ability to map a single axis. Yeah, added aircraft state reset on exit. State reset on exit. I'm not sure what that is. Fine-tuned deflection time on control surfaces. Okay. Added logic to sync the CRS dial and the VOR dial. Good. Added custom autopilot constraints and removed artificial stability properties. Whatever that means. Changed angle of roll in yokes from 45 to 75. Oh, that's good. Corrected rudder pedals animation and added toe brakes. Toe brakes weren't added? Really? I didn't know that. Added PBR to all glass. Okay, so there's been some changes there as well. Altitude selector now reading in increments of 100 feet. Okay. Oh, that's good. Adjust logic for setting X-plane autopilot altitude. Cool. Added logic to prevent door from opening in flight or releasing parking brake while door is open. That's good. Changed logic on CVP oil pressure warning. Fixed erroneous config alert when aircraft is not powered. Adjusted aircraft friction coefficient. So let's, before we continue, so we're now flying towards Tusto, and then eventually we will need to go into a descent. But we'll start the descent, a slow, very slow descent when we're at Landu, which is still a wee moment here. Adjust aircraft friction coefficient here. Nav 1 frequency selector logic fixed. Okay. Added logic to include new explain data rest for radio audio volume. Oh wow, yeah. As I say, they have done a lot under the hoods here. Converted airfoils to latest format. Newly textured annunciators with PBR and spill lights. Wow. Yeah, they look better actually. New detent manipulators added to condition levers. Yep, that didn't exist before. I knew it. I can't remember that. So you can use them with the mouse now much better than you could before. Well done. New logic added for condition levers. Yep, we've seen that. Added a common manipulator to condition levers for mouse control. Yep, really great stuff. Fixed radio panel, weather radar textures on center console. Okay. Added new logic to all switch guards on overhead and center console. Cool. Updated air conditioning temp selector switch logic. Okay. Fixed engine anti-ice manipulators. Yeah, most of these things I didn't even know that there were problems. Lighting rheostat bug fixed. Airspeed test button logic fixed. And let's check where we are. We're getting to Lando, and here you see what I meant with the whole. Oops. Wrong button. Okay. I go to mic, I say direct to activate. Alright, so we're flying now towards mic and then we are in the approach. But that's normal. That's not something the aircraft does. It's what that's explained. Right. And we need to get down. I can see that my hardware isn't. Now it is. Why did it not work? Doesn't matter. So I'm going to get onto 5000. Alright. And I'm going to use IAS mode again, just test this a bit more, and I'm going to pull back on the lever now and begin a descent. And I will begin a descent, with about 1,000 feet per minute or so. Yeah, we'll need to get this stabilized. So the IS mode isn't yet, I don't know, it reacts a bit weird, yeah, and all the blinking and all that. So about 1,000 feet per minute. Let's continue here. Fixed engine anti-ice manipulators, lighting, rheostat bug fixed, airspeed test button logic fixed, change RMI selector logic and manipulators, cool. Fixed error in autopilot logic. Yup, there have been some weird things, I remember. Cool. Changed, fixed, yeah. Artificial horizon fixed. Was there okay. Flight number tumblers animation fixed. Okay, yeah. Improved logic for autopilot and yaw damper. Okay. Yeah, important, yeah. If the autopilot behaves weird, improved logic for fire handles, okay. Heading slave function enabled, nav2 frequency fixed, was the problem. Adjustment made to ITT values, cool. RDF MEMX transfer switch logic, CTOC parameters adjusted, okay. Constant speed, pitch change, speed adjusted, okay. Bleed valve reset logic change, fuel crossfeed logic adjusted, decision height logic fixed. Cool, igniter switch logic fixed, engine torque fixed, my god, look at all that. Added hash marks to rudder trim texture, let's quickly check if we are still on track here. Yup. Fixed animations to temp select switches, first officer decision height logic fixed. Okay, I don't use that normally, but cool. APA flag animation changed, audio panel functionality improved, changed GPS CDI to auto set OBS. Oh, cool. Fixed prop pump logic. Oh, heading sync on HARS alignment adjusted. ADF1 GUI mem logic improved. My god. Fixed bug when landing. Fixed flap indicator. Added logic for altimeter test. Adjusted gear handle textures. Changed anti-skid switch default to on. Ah yeah, that's cool. That's why it was on, because it usually was off, if I remember correctly. Fixed standby pitot logic. Change power source of torque gauges. Corrected course value back. Oh, okay, we're getting to the end now. Fixed LIT assignment on cabin pressure. Corrected nose wheel steering logic. Yeah, that definitely works very good. There's no jerkiness, nothing. I have to say, that definitely looks like they have done a good job there. Removed scroll zoom user pref. Yeah, okay, I've hardly ever used those. Fixed first officer DSP selector knob restrictions. Corrected ignition switch guard interaction logic. Updated artificial horizon cage knob logic. Added sim command interaction for IS knob. Oh, yeah, that's right. They have commands. They had changed it. I had to reprogram my stuff, but I'm happy with what they've done because this really works now. It works better than before. So there was some work, and initially I said, why did you change this? But now I'm happy enough because this stuff works quite well now with the hardware. Changed gust lock release? Yeah, that was a weird thing with this gust lock. Updated temp control logic. Yep, Lin Ang display logic fixed. ADF default function position set to ADF. Changed default pressurization mode to auto and adjusted command bus power logic. Wow. So, well, people could say if they had to fix that many things, then obviously a lot of things were, well, yeah, you could look at it in different ways. I'm happy that they did. I'm really, really happy that they did, because that makes such a huge difference. So let's get 109.5 here, and let's put the course, well, we can't do that yet, okay, because we are still, the source is still the VOR. Well, it roughly keeps the speed now, so it seems to work a little bit better. I think we need to hurry up with the descent. Yeah, we got a little bit behind while I was reading, so I'm going to take out power now and we have to descend a bit faster now. Already turning on the landing lights. Cool. I have to say I'm really happy. This is, it feels smoother. It feels more reliant than reliable. I mean than before. Because I remember with the Saab I had some really weird things happening. I really wonder what the landing will be like. There isn't auto landing in this airplane, so I need to take over anyway. I really wonder how this will feel when I do my first landing with it, which happens to be in this video. I think we can reduce again because we need to be at 5,000 at the initial approach fix, so I don't think we need to be, yeah, let's stay in and around 1,000 feet per minute. We can always speed it up again. So we've almost reached Mike. Quick look here. Yep, we're almost at Mike. And now, again, this might be a problem if you haven't adjusted for it in your flight plan. There is a discontinuity, sort of a strange thing. Looks like the adjustments that I did fixed this. So it doesn't try to go to Munich direct, things like that. So that's why you need to take this out and make sure that you have a smooth transition here. Yeah, and then it works actually fine. Right. And we also need to take care that when we reach 5,000 that we don't get too slow. Okay, now 6,200. I will probably be there a little bit earlier. Now I'll leave it at 200 for the moment. When we have reached the altitude, there's an altitude alert here. Then I will reduce the speed to about 180 slowly. Although it's a little bit early. Let's try and stay at 200 and then reduce it to 180. And we get to Magat. Alright, so let's adjust the heading here, because we're going to take over at some point. We've used 260 kilograms of fuel so far. Yeah, looking fine. We're at 5,000 and we're now getting slower. So I let it slowly reduce the speed to 180 and then I need to adjust the power again. I have a feeling that it's much smoother, and I remember that it was very jerky at certain things. Also the aileron and all that was it still was a little bit jerky when I was taking off, so I had to find my way around it. But it isn't as bad as I have it in memory. So I'm now adding power. Nope, we're getting faster, so a bit less. Okay. Let's reduce the power again, because we got faster again. Alright. So, heading is 80. I'm going to switch into heading mode now. Alright, and I'm going to activate, I'm going to change the source, which is here, to lock 1. I'll make sure that the is on 80, and then I activate the approach mode. So, we've got the approach mode. We are almost at the glide slope. And that means we should be starting to drop the nose. We just did that. It's cool. Yeah, we got a bit slower. I still don't have it quite sauced out with the power yet, but that's okay. It's not bad. So we're on the glide slope, we're on the localizer. Both seem to be captured. Okay, push to cancel. That's the hydraulic pump, I think. So, can we see where's the DME readout? I can't actually see it. Well, anyway, we are on localizer 1. We're fine. I'm going to reduce the power now. So I'm in flight idle now, and I'm not sure, can I bring out the flaps at this speed? I hope we can, because we're getting a bit fast. And we need to bring down the speed. If we'll stay above 100, something like 110 for the approach. I remember that this could be quite fatal. So how do I slow this thing down? Yeah, I'll try it with the gears. You can hear the hydraulic pump work on the gears. Yeah, now we're getting slower. We're still on the glide slope, that's fine. Next stage of flaps. I'm still in idle thrust, and it's very slow, so you need to kind of plan for it, but I actually prefer it like this than very quick and very rapid changes. That's always not good. And the flaps come down a bit further. And we do the full flaps. Probably not necessary, I don't know. But so now I'm starting to give a bit more power because we are getting slower, and you know how things are. It can be quite quick. Things can happen quickly. Still getting a bit slower, so I'm increasing power slowly until I see that we get faster again, which we do now. So I try to establish a speed which doesn't get too low, but it should stay below 120, I think. Yep. I'm going to turn off the autopilot now. I had to press the button again, or maybe it was just chiming 2 times. Yep, that so far is it's doing well. Feels okay. And I'm going to take down flight idle. Oh my god, this is... wow. And now I'm going into the beta range. Am I in the beta range? No, I'm not. I had this before. Now I'm in the beta range. Yeah, that is something I need to check still. That's a bit weird. Happened to me during some trials that I did with the throttle. So we should be now on... we're still in beta. We should be on... we're still in beta. We're still in beta. When do we get out of beta? Well... that's a bit weird, but I guess you have to get used to this. Just whatever way this is meant to be. Steering is very nice. They did a good job here, I think. Okay, landing light off. Oops, taxi lights on. Transponder into the standby position. Bring the flaps up. So we'll activate the ooh-ha-ha. Yoo-hoo. Yeah, I guess I need a button or something, a key for this steering thing. Didn't go through the checklist. Briefing, ice protection, cabin pressure, flight instruments, bugs, yeah. Altimeter set. I suppose I should have had the seat tot on. Altimeters, external lights, cabin seats. Yeah, auto coarsen on. We should have had that on for the landing. Landing signal given, gear down, hydraulics checked, prop sync off. Yeah, prop sync should have been off too. Didn't do that. Condition levers max. Yeah, flaps set. De-ice off, yaw damper off. Okay. And after landing, gust lock on. That should prevent extreme movements of, I guess. Ice protection set, auto coarsen off, external lights set. Yeah, the auto coarsen, where was it? It's here, it's off. And differential pressure, yeah, flaps up, radar flaps are up. The differential pressure is, yeah, coming down again, it's 0. And a standby, yeah. And then we have the parking, so we're going to take the next best position. The current version of Munich Airport is actually quite good. This default version. It doesn't look as nice as the short final design, obviously, but I think it does the job here, so it's fine. Alrighty. Looking good. Come on, you can do it. Ah, that's the beta. Yeah. Let's stop here. Parking brake on. I'm going to. Yeah, we're going to get a problem now with the power. Yeah, because normally I should probably have first got the ground to power on, parking, anti-ice, external lights, and so on. Generators set, seatbelt signs on, air conditioning, oxygen, batteries, dome light. Yeah, and that's it. So, yo, nice. Yeah. There's probably something wrong with the script because the door isn't opening again. Let's see if the cargo, well, at least the cargo door gets opened. Unfortunately, the normal door doesn't. There's again some upset here in the sequence. Yeah, see? Yeah, okay. So I think this is open, then we can do this, then we can do this. No. Yeah, okay, we need to close this again. You need to bring this again, then you open this. No. Okay. And try. Okay, forget it. For the next update, maybe you just make it easier to open the door. It's a bit awkward. But still, I'm really, really happy with this aircraft. Yeah. If you want a Saab and you don't want a Carnado one, you want a nice aircraft, good looking and pretty realistically also made, this definitely is my favorite. I know the Carnado one, but to be honest, I would always pick this one. I would prefer it. Anyway, that's it. Try and fly. Thanks for watching, and until next time.